Council on this Wednesday, the 12th of February 2025. As my usual request to you is to silence your phone or any other devices, and also to note filming. Photographing or audio recording of proceedings is allowed. Council asks that, as a matter of politeness, people tell the clerk of their intention to record. In the interests of encouraging public participation, it is requested that anyone filming does not include members of the public in shot. Thank you.
I'm recording.
Item 1 on the agenda, non-attendance of councillors. 1.1, to receive and note apologies from councillors who are unable to attend the meeting.
Got apologies from Councillor Marley and Councillor Thistleton.
And I have one from Councillor Murphy.
Thank you. Uh, 1.2, to consider reasons for absence provided by councillors who cannot attend and resolve the council's acceptance of these if felt relevant.
I've got Councillor Marley who's got an extremely bad cold. He says he doesn't want to give it to everybody else. And Councillor Thistleton has got work.
Again. Councillor Murphy, prior engagement.
Thank you. Thank you. Council happy to accept those apologies and his name. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Item 2 is declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest in items on this agenda.
Chairman,
Yes.
I declare an interest on items 10, 11 and 12 as a member of North Yorkshire Council Planning Committee, and will leave the meeting at that time.
Chair. 8.5, I'm a member of the Church Council.
Yeah. Can you pass it over to me?
Thank you.
Item 3 is the minutes. 3.1, to approve and authorise the chairman to sign the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of council held on the 19th of December 2024. Is it council's wishes that I sign these a true record?
Yeah.
Anyone against? Okay, thank you. Item 4 is public participation, not to exceed 15 minutes. Matters raised must relate to an item on this meeting's agenda. Mr. Buckley?
8.6 on the agenda, Chairman. I think you're probably expecting this. Councillors will have seen the documentation that I've been sending in and following the correspondence between the clerk and myself over the last few days. The source is the attendance of councillors. And I'm pleased to see that we've got more councillors today. So we've got, as a fact, that councillors Foote, Shepherd and Thistleton have not attended for over 6 months. The 1972 Local Government Act says that councillors who fail to attend council meetings for 6 months should be disqualified. And it's fair to say that there's different interpretations of the law. I provided all the councillors here with examples of what happens in other councils. It's completely different. This council seems to think that because you nod through reasons for non-attendance, that is sufficient. Other councils do something different. Now, I'm not disputing for a moment that this council doesn't believe that it's doing the right thing. It's received advice, received advice through the clerk from the Yorkshire Local Councils Association and the National Associations of Local Councils. But we have a problem. And that problem is that nearly 25% of our councillors have been missing for 6 months. They're failing, in my view, in their duties as a councillor by not attending. There's a democratic deficit in this council. We don't have a time limit on how long this process can go on for. Is it for 6 months, another 6 months, a year? Is it for the full term of the council? So a councillor can attend on the first day of the new council and then be absent for the next 4 years. Is that what we actually want to do? Taken to its logical conclusion, we are where we are, where we don't really know what's going on with the attendance of councillors. So it would be absurd. It's not the will of Parliament, and it's not democracy. And it's not what I think the people of Newby and Scalby expect of their local councils. And I do think that those councillors, I'm sorry to say this with them in the room, I do think that those councillors that have been absent for 6 months should resign and make way if they're not able to attend themselves.
Can I just say something, please? I had a serious accident, and I have still recovering from my serious accident. Unfortunately, I had to come, but I don't think you appreciated the state I was in. That's why I did not attend.
But you were.
I gave my apologies. I said my apologies every time to say that I was in. I am still at least a physiotherapist, and I've still got a long road to go ahead to get back to full health.
Chairman, I think it was my turn to speak, but
Well, I apologise for stepping in, but I've got to defend
Well,
myself.
you've now completed
Taken up our time.
your
Be
3
quiet.
minutes time, Councillor. Mr.
I think I've made my point, Chairman, but later on, you've got in 8.6 receive a note. I don't think receive a note is enough. I really do think this council ought to debate the issue of attendance
Yeah.
of councillors. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Buckley. On what you've gone on about the councillors at present, I'm sure you've been kept fully informed from our clerk the situation, which is partly, as you've indicated, regarding the 1972 Act, etc., and that we are fully compliant with all that. That's in there at present. We've not been informed of any other changes or anything that's taken place in connection with that. So that's the current information. I believe the last email was sent to you yesterday. So you should, if you haven't already seen that, the information is all there for you at present.
Chairman,
Okay, thank you.
just
I'll
another
take the
point.
next question, please,
Just
from
another point,
anyone,
please, Chairman.
anybody else. I'll take
I
the
think-
next
I think
question
you're
from
giving
someone else.
responses
Thank you. You've
during
had your
the
time,
questions.
Mr. Buckley. If
But
anybody
by
else
giving
wishes, if
responses
anybody
during the
else
question
wishes to
time.
make a comment, Mr. Sharma.
Can I just reinforce what has been said by Mr. Buckley? This is not an issue of personalities or anything. The two councillors in question have missed 6 months' meeting. You are no longer councillors, and sitting where you are making a personal statement about your credentials. They are false in fact. You can speak after the public event. You can have your time then. This is our chance to speak. So hold your fire until then. The other part of it is that you should be given the answers to this, not during the public period, but afterwards, so they can be noted. And that's for you to do, Mr. Chairman. The fact of the matter remains, giving an apology for absence and being absent for 6 months and requiring that to be taken are two different things. You've confused them together. You have not had proper advice on this, and you are out of sync with the law. You personally have a duty to find out if you are right or wrong. I know what the clerk has said, but this council over this last year has behaved in a manner which can only be described as that of a rogue. It no longer functions as a council. It no longer adheres to the principles that should govern a council. And I'm sure Councillor Derek Bastiman, long-serving individual, ought to know what that means. In principle, you behave like a private company, and the rules of a private company and a public body like a council are very, very different. You have crossed that line, and you are no longer legitimate in that way. I say again to the two councillors, I suggest you seek advice independently of the clerk to find out exactly where you are. This meeting, by your presence, is illegal. You should not be sitting there. You are not councillors anymore.
Right, so
You can speak when the public question is over. I'm sure the chair will let you have a say. This is our chance, so wait your turn. Thank you.
Any further comments from?
Yeah, kick them out. Do you want to ask a question?
Any more questions?
I don't know whether.
Yes, just a moment, please, thank you. The lady behind you is indicating that I have.
Sorry.
The first question that I have is in relation to agenda item 4, which is this, the public participation. Can I expect, it links in with what the two chaps before have just said, can I expect that any questions that are raised in the public participation will be recorded and responded to in the section in your minutes entitled Matters Raised in the Public Forum? So we've asked the questions, whatever answers you come up with, will I see them in the minutes next time we get the minutes? That's my first question. My second question is in relation to item 9.3. This is the Foulside Pond works. In there, you refer to unforeseen expenditure, re the allocation of funds. The project in 24-25, and this was Foulside Pond, had £20,000 allocated to it. None of it was spent, and in that section for 25-26 there's nothing allocated to that. Can you elaborate? Where did the £20,000 go, and why is there nothing in the next year's budget? I don't want an answer now, but I'd like you to record my question, and I would like an answer to be recorded in the sections that says matters raised in public open forum. Item 5 on your agenda. Okay? I'll keep a copy. If you wish me to, I'll put them in an email to you so that you've got a copy of my questions. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
But I want to see them in the minutes.
Thank you. The gentleman behind.
I've been advised to speak to yourselves that I live at 25 Green and I'm having problems accessing the road with the caravan. When I moved there 30 years ago, the traffic was light. Now then what happens is, I live at number 25, directly opposite number 25, up to the meadows, there's a short stretch of road that will hold 2 cars. But what tends to happen is, vans, builders' vans, etc. in that park, and they'll stay there. And if it's a weekend, they'll stay there maybe from Friday through till Monday. Now I've been in contact with Matthew Baldwin, and I've rang several people at different times at North Yorkshire County Council, and they just bounce it from one person to another. I would like them to put a short stretch of WL lines. They're actually on with something now, because there's cones all up and down there. I don't know whether they're planning on doing something like that. I mean, I wouldn't object to parking at my side of the road if the other side is clear, you know, so I can get in and out. When my neighbours park there, it wasn't too bad to knock at the door. I don't like doing it, but I don't always come and go in decent hours. I'd come back at midnight one night or leave in the morning. And they said something about H lines, you know, the white lines, but you cannot put them anywhere other than in front of your own property. You can't put them at the other side of the road. So I went down that avenue, and the lady was quite helpful, said that may be the answer, but you can't do it. So what I would like is somebody to, with this gentleman here, to have a look. And if you see the matter, you'll see, because they can't, when the house is sort of built and the walls and that cannot turn down, not to make it any better, but can only turn up. When the council said widen your driveway, but that won't suffice, because I still can't turn because of the way I come up the drive. You can only go up square and then turn right. That's basically the problem. So what I want is a short stretch of yellow line. I mean, cars shouldn't park within, they shouldn't park within about, is it 15 foot of a junction anyway, so it should really only equate to one car, but they do park, and they park in the corner. Especially at school times, it's an absolute menace.
Yeah.
People are dodging in and out of cars and kids are going backwards and forwards. You know, people are just so lazy, even with these corners that they still park. But that's me.
What number did you say you were?
I live at 25 Green.
24.
And the problem, the road is, what's the problem is between 25 and the entrance to the meadows. It's a short distance of about 2 car lengths, something like that.
Okay,
That's
thank you for your,
that's the sum total of it, isn't
yeah,
it?
oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gentleman in the corner, yeah.
Yeah, speaking about the meadows, if I can direct my question to the clerk, I actually forwarded that it was flooding, and I forwarded photographs. I haven't as yet had any reply from the county council. I don't know if the clerk kind of chased them up again, or maybe by me asking this question now, she will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any
Just
questions?
very quickly, Chairman, on the planning matters, and I think it's the ones where we've got the new bit of development off Scalby Road there, and I can't quite identify them at the moment.
Number 3, number 4.
Number 3 and 4, do you
Sorry,
think?
3.
Yes. I would really like the bus stop to remain where it is. At the moment, those plans show 2 driveways going out from that area, but that bus stop must remain where it is, because a lot of elderly, disabled people use that bus stop. We do not want it to move. So if that, if there are any plans or suggestions to move that elsewhere, please object to that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Buckley. That concludes the public participation time. Item 5 is matters raised in the public open forum. 5.1, to agree action as appropriate on matters raised in the public open forum. So I think we've got the business of the pond that the lady indicated. Sorry.
I mean, the first 2 matters I think can be dealt with when we come to the appropriate item on the agenda.
Yeah, sure.
But the gentleman from the Green, can I propose that we write to the Highway Authority and request that they put some double yellow lines between number 25 and the entrance to the meadows to allow access.
I would have thought that's quite a good idea, but I think it requires the full consent of the all the councillors. So if they are happy to go along with that,
Can I just ask, before you do that, can I just ask how long is it, does anybody know how long it takes to get the wheeler lines at the moment? That might have some idea.
£5,000 for a TRO.
Yeah.
£5,000 for a TRO.
So,
What are we gonna pay for
we're not too sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it takes a rather long time.
Well,
So,
the
which I
last,
don't think
last
we
I
do.
heard was 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, which I don't know whether you can do
So that's
anything
not going to
about
solve
it.
the
You know.
problem immediately.
Earlier you start, the
But,
better.
yeah, so all we can do is put the request in for the gentleman.
I do have a case reference number for the North Yorkshire Council, if that's a would help anybody. I don't know what it is or it isn't.
Yes, please, if you wouldn't mind, would you give us a reference?
Right, it's 101010 648 901. That's the case reference number. That takes us straight to the what's been said, and we've got all the information of when they rang and when they didn't ring, etc. Thank you.
So, councillors all in favour of that recommendation, etc. Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Buckley, but with regards to the bus stop, I'm sure we can make mention of that within the actual planning application that's in for the properties that you're talking about, where the bus stop is to be right in the way, like you're indicating, I think, at present. So that what situation have they decided on with regards to that, eliminating the bus stop, where they're getting rid of it completely, or they're going to move it one way or the other? So, okay.
Well, I don't think it should move for the reasons that I've said, but thank you for that.
Well, we'll see what we can find out. I think that was it.
No,
Was that
because
one?
the gentleman in the back corner that hasn't heard back from
Oh,
North
yeah.
Yorkshire
Yes,
about
please.
photos.
Yeah.
And you've also got the comments about wanting verbatim, possibly minutes,
Yeah.
and asking a question about Farsight Pond.
Right. Okay. So, are you okay to investigate the situation with regards to the gentleman asking about his flooding bit in the pond?
Flooding, it's a flooding on the corner of the meadows.
Sorry?
It's about the flooding on the corner of the meadows.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Right, I can chase that at counter.
Yeah.
It could be, that when I do that, I'm also copying North Yorkshire Water Council so that they are aware of it. And then if they wish to take up cudgels on the parishioners' behalf, they can do.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Okay. Council all happy with that action?
Yeah.
Okay. Full-side pond business. I think we've already got yeah. With regards to the minutes being recorded from the lady there, I think is that be normal that we would undertake to do that, to get on those actions, or are we doing it as we?
Generally speaking, the minutes will say something to the effect of various matters were raised which included whatever they were. And then further on it will say what action council
I've done decided on. Yeah. Okay.
It's really
That's
important for me to have the substance of my question recorded, because if you go back to the November minutes, I asked a question there, and all it said in the minutes was a question was asked. Which question? What was the question? What was the answer? It's not good enough.
Okay, so
I should make it clear that minutes are intended to record decisions, not give the whys and wherefores and
What
everything
about
from
what about
the
item
meeting.
5? Matters raised in public open forum. What's the point of that section then, if you're not going to respond to the things we've raised in the public forum? That's what that
Okay.
section is for.
okay,
It's not
So-
rocket science.
we've indicated to you that that will be the procedure that we'll be following as such.
John,
Okay. Right, thank you. So I think that covered everything of the matters in the open forum section. Item 6 is external reports. 6.1 is the police to receive and note report for January 2025 incidents covered by rural policing team, and that was emailed to councillors. Have you had a chance to look through those, and do you wish to make any comments in particular? No comments on anything, and happy to receive that report. Thank you. 6.2, the Joint Council Working Group on Fracking, to receive update which is enclosed from this council's representative and agree action as appropriate. So, Councillor Anderson, thank you very much for giving us a good detailed account of the meetings that have transpired. So you did ask in it, should be happy to put together the town council's response, recommending that it's considered and voted on by the full council, exactly, before the submission to the planning authority. Do you have a date of when it's expected for the plan?
We're expecting, we've been told that the application is going to be submitted by 14th, this coming Friday. So we'll be looking out for it then. So there's a lot of work for the working group to do following that, in putting together, you know, the councils, the various councils' responses. I have put a notice up on the board outside, asking sort of members of the public if they have any views or issues that they want to be raised with regard to the application, or the proposal, I should say, because we haven't seen the application yet. But I haven't heard that we've received any feedback from members of the public. But of course, you know, once the application is in, as I said, I do encourage anyone, members of the public, to put in their own observations or objections or support for the application. I would anticipate that it's likely to be quite a big application, and so it might take longer than you know, the normal applications. But hopefully I get a draft for consideration by the council for our next meeting. We may have to call an extraordinary meeting, if that's what councillors would like to do.
Well, are you happy if the council here now are able to formulate their opinion and express that to you as a council for you to include in your report, so that you can get it in time?
Well, yes, I think it would be. I can sort of take comments at the moment, but I think it would be better not to say anything definite at this stage before the application has been submitted, because then what the planning authority will say is, oh, they predetermined it, they decided
Yeah,
without actually considering the application.
Yeah.
So, you know, if anyone wants to sort of email me with their comments, or if you want to, you know, raise things now, then fine, I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, so would councillors be prepared to do that, to inform Councillor Ball, your comments that you wish, and then you can formulate things. If anybody wants to
Until it's valid, until it's validated.
Right, yeah.
Just two points. There was a meeting at Burniston, I think was it last weekend or the weekend before. But was that right?
There was a drop-in, yeah,
Yeah,
at
okay.
Burniston. Yeah.
It was Burniston,
Was it Burniston? Yeah.
Just one thing I wanted to know was, has anybody considered, and I'm not saying that I have an alternate view, but the clerk will recall that in the early days of fracking, YSA had access to a person that has spent a lifetime in fracking and actually came and spoke to councillors and gave them another view. Has that been considered?
Chairman of that, Commissioner Bond, maybe I'll Councillor Barnell, is that Richard Parsons, who chairs the fracking working group, is in contact with various bodies and agencies.
Yes.
I attend meetings as and when I can. Councillor Bart's the representative from this parish town council. But I do know Councillor Richard Parsons is very involved, engaged in both sides of the fence, for the want of a better word, both in Europa and other agencies.
I mean, the other members of the working group have been to other, I think, been to the drop-in.
Yeah.
They've been to other meetings, so they are sort of well aware of all the various issues.
Claire had sent a note round.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, in response to Councillor Townsend's comment, as far as I'm aware, at a very quick glance, fracking technology has changed significantly since that meeting that I attended with you. And so what was said in that training session is to a large extent irrelevant, because the technology has changed significantly, and you've got to look at it in the light of modern technology, not what happened then.
We don't have to see the same person, but the other people that have the up-to-date information. But it's there, and I'm surprised nobody's tapped into it yet.
Okay. Right. Okay. So,
tell me what decision's been made, please, if you want.
yeah. So,
If you tell him, he'll tell you.
happy to.
Yeah, I think at this stage, Chair, it's just receiving the report.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So, council, all in agreement with the report, in accepting it as and councillors, if they wish to make any further comments, if they pass direct to Councillor Paul, is that in order?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much indeed for all that. Item 7, updates on various matters and councillors' reports and items. 7.1, unlit street lights at bus stop on Field Lane. To receive and note the report enclosed. So,
Can I just say something?
yes,
The report, this has been before council with more than 2 occasions that I know of. But when you look at the area, the bus stop is clearly on the highway, well away from the building site. And I noticed in the clerk's report that North Yorkshire didn't seem to have anything to do with it. But after the clerk spoke to the developers, she got back to the North Yorkshire Council, who then did the job they should have done in the first place. It seems a little bit strange.
And this is the bus stop, that's
Yeah.
actually on Field Lane, isn't it? Just approaching the roundabout there, isn't it?
Yep.
Is it on both sides of the road?
Yeah, there is one on
Yeah,
both
that's
sides.
right, yeah, thought it was, yeah, okay. So, would you like those comments put in to, just to indicate
Yes,
and ask
please.
them if they can
Yes, please.
just double check that out?
In
So we,
council,
um,
either myself or councillor Basterman needs to address what councillor Towers has just raised, because there was some difficulty which councillor Towers will not be aware of, but maybe the others can
Okay.
explain.
yeah,
You can tell us.
okay, fine.
The lights themselves, it was expected that in the normal course of events, because they were on the highway, the lights were the responsibility of North Yorkshire. When the matter was looked at, North Yorkshire took the view that those lights were put there as a condition of the outline planning consent in 2019, I think it was. And North Yorkshire's argument was, and until such times as the development was finished, they were not prepared to take responsibility for those streetlights. I got in touch with Councillor Basterman in his capacity as ward councillor at North Yorkshire, and he very kindly pointed out to North Yorkshire that that was a rather perverse decision. It was part of the highway, and North Yorkshire then accepted that lights on the highway would be dealt with and addressed with immediate effect, for it would not impact lights on the development itself.
That's correct.
And that is why we've got it written that originally it was Taylor Wimpey, and then we've managed to get it back to North Yorkshire. The upshot of it is the lights are now working.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good, yeah. Thank you.
So are you receiving the note?
Receiving and noting the report, yes, thank you. 7.2 is to receive reports from councillors of any highway and footpath matters requiring attention. Councillors have any ones?
The zebra crossing on Calderhill Lane on the school side of the road looks like a lorry's clogged it and it's twisted and
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer functioning.
Yeah, the warning, amber warning sign around once that flashes, etc. Yeah, okay. Further from councillors, Ron? Okay, thank you. Item 8 is correspondence. 8.1, the Grickbin Sandhurst Gardens to receive the report, enclose and agree the action as appropriate. So you see from the report, cost implications, North Yorkshire Council charges 75 plus VAT to refill a grip bin twice a year. And as a town council already provide a bin that's just that bit further away from that area. Yeah, councillor.
I've had a look at that, and the clerk's right, there is one 60 metres away from the top of Sandhurst Garden, but it's another 60 to 80 metres down to the bottom of Sandhurst Gardens, and I feel it definitely needs, it's probably 20 houses down there, but it's a slope right from the bottom. They certainly will have problems, and to expect them to walk to the other bin, I think it's asking too much. I propose that they have a grip bin.
Okay.
Can I just ask, Chair, how many grip bins this council already maintains?
9 or 10. Got to remember that there is an existing grip bin on Sandhurst Gardens corner, not down at the bottom.
Would it, if we relocated it halfway down, would that help to resolve the situation both those further down and the ones?
I'll just leave it where it is, it's on a grass,
Relocate.
it's on an open grass place, I'll leave it where it is.
Okay, right, yeah,
Personally.
yeah. So does councillors wish to support the provision of a grip bin, or to just leave it as per arrangement as it is at present?
Well, I propose the bin stays.
Yeah, so. So,
Fees is disgusting when they talk.
councillors wish to add anything to that? Do you wish to support the proposition from?
Proposition would be that this council takes over maintenance of this particular grip bin.
Can you afford it?
Is that, yeah,
Who's actually going to do that?
£75 a year, is it?
75 plus VAT. Yeah.
That we can claim back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All those in favour of?
Why did she go?
Yeah. Is it just the two? Is it?
Can you do again?
Exact- Yeah, and those against? Abstaining, there must be abstaining, are you? They're not. Okay.
Can we ask, sorry, I think people are confused, could you ask the vote again? Either to
Yeah.
support it or not?
Yeah, so councillors wish to support the proposition of councillor Towers with regards to supporting the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any against? Seems, I think that was carried.
Well, I'm just struggling because I only saw 4 hands go up and there's a lot more than 4 people around here, around the table.
So if you're supporting it, would you indicate now, please? Yeah, okay, fine, thank you.
Must be difficult to
So 8.2 is the grip bin just closed to receive the report and note the action taken. That one's quite conclusive on that. 8.3 is to note a vacancy exists in Newby ward due to the resignation of Bob Kendall and the relevant.
8.2, what are you doing about it? Are you receiving a note? Just didn't say persuaded or anything.
No way.
Okay, happy to receive that report and the actions taken, etc. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Oh, yes. 8.3 is to note a vacancy exists in Newby ward due to the resignation of Bob Kendall and the relevant notice has been posted. councillor happy to note that the received. Thank you. And the relevant notice has been posted. 8.4 is dog control public space protection order, consultation on amendments, email to councillors, receive and agree the comments. So, councillors are fully aware of what's there. If they wish to contact the relevant web page, and they can make their comments noted on that as individuals.
I did do that, Chair. I couldn't see that there were any actual changes to the ones minutes.
No, I struggled with that as well. Yeah, so best of luck on that one. Okay, so that's left with your councillors if you wish to.
So for the minutes,
do that.
councillors are responding to that individually.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. 8.5, working with young people in the community to receive an email enclosed and agree action as appropriate. So this is, yeah.
So you don't want to invite him to.
Yeah.
More information would be useful.
Yeah.
It is.
Fantastic picture. What age group is 7 to 11? I'm sorry, the high school is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what age, because even know what age was secondary. That's another school, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, Reverend Han, would you like to make a comment about it? Because we have noted your email and I think you've sent it, and like you say, yourself is not sure exactly what's to take place, so before we can make any sort of conclusions, have you got more information now?
Not really, but thank you for inviting me to come and receive the email. So ourselves through St Lawrence's in Scalby, so the parish church there, and St Mark's, which is Newby parish, and then St Luke's, which isn't, probably any of that might not be in the town council's area, but it's very close to St Mark's parish and comes close to ours as well. So we're just trying to think, as churches, how can you do something within your local community to bless young people? There seems to be quite a lot of work happening with those who are under 11 years old, that we can see, that we can identify, but there seems to be less happening with those who are aged 11, so basically in secondary school upwards and then into the college, so maybe anybody aged 11 to 18. I'm not saying nothing is happening, I'm just saying it's a bit harder to see it, and certainly as churches it's harder for us to see it as well. And we're just thinking, something that could actually help young people to feel a part of the community, to understand their needs and how we can support them and encourage them to grow, to mature, to engage with the wider community in positive ways. So the work really is to work out, are there any young people? I think the answer is yes. What is the need that they might have? And then discover what that is, and then how as churches and as the town council and other interested partners within the area, we can work together to achieve something, to respond. The building here is perhaps a helpful first port of call because it gives us a space to use. But there are other places within the local community, including the churches, that have got buildings and space to offer for use. It's just really that question, which are, the two questions are those there. What can we discover and what might we begin to do together to help make a provision for young people? So I think the email really explains where I'm at, really.
Yeah.
Have you been in touch with the Gallows Close Centre, because I know they still run the youth service, 1 or 2 nights a week for
so through St Mark's, that's in their parish, their area, so they've got some conversations going with that. You know, we've begun some initial conversations, so there's people like Sidewalk, which offer mentoring, and they work on the streets, but also within secondary schools. We're trying to get a conversation going with the secondary schools as well. But part of the feeling would be, you know, if the council was supportive of it, that would actually open some doors that, you know, won't open if I knock on them, but might if the council was involved.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bastian, anything else?
Tony, have you spoken to North Yorkshire's officers, Tony?
No, I haven't yet myself, no.
It may be a good idea to contact Joe Ireland
Yeah.
at North Yorkshire.
Yeah, just send me an email if you,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, just give me a name and I'll contact them. But I mean, we're not seeing ourselves as being responsible for it, we're just trying to say, can we work together with people to achieve something so that it's shared by the wider community.
Should be able to advise what's
Yeah.
about one thing or another.
And, you know, it's likely to be something that you can think, well, there may not be much at the moment, but we can see something grow and have a vision for it and how that can be a blessing to young people. And maybe even retain some of them so they don't want to leave Scalby. They want to stay because the life here is so good. Kind of thing. That's what it was about really, so an initial question. Anything else you want me to?
So, could I just clarify the ages that have been indicated?
Yeah.
The email, I believe, says 7 to 11, so...
Yeah, school years.
Years.
So that's,
Sorry,
yeah, so that's,
Secondary school.
you basically,
Yeah.
you're 11, yeah, so you know the first year of secondary school.
Yeah.
So that's 11 to 18.
Up to 18 maybe, you know, that kind of. Is that helpful? And it'd be really helpful for me to have point, I mean, I know the clerk did say a councillor can't speak for the whole council, but to have some way of kind of finding somebody within the council to have some conversations with on an ongoing basis to be part, hopefully, of that group of people that might come together, if I can. Thank you.
So, on what limited amount of information that we have available to us, does the council wish to react on that particular thing, or would we perhaps prefer that the Reverend Hand gets through the recommendation that you've made, get more information and then come back to us again?
Yeah.
Would you prefer it that way, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so would you mind if it's in order that you seek some more information through the county and then come back to us and see what we can formulate from there for you?
Yeah. Okay.
Councillor,
Yeah,
did you want to make
I
a
just think
comment?
it's particularly sad that, you know, we had a welfare hub going here and now we don't. And that's what a welfare hub was all about. So thanks, councillor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy if you've got suggestions of people to kind of make contact with. I'm very happy to follow that up. One of the things that was in the email was this sort of sense of saying, is there a counsellor who we might be able to have a conversation with as well, so that's part of the program. Yeah, just really what's happening, what might happen, what can a council do? Because I don't know the answer to those questions. What capacity councils have, in a general sense, to assist with something like this? Where we might see examples elsewhere in other parts of the country, I don't know. I've got an idea of what churches might do, but not councils. But it's not a church thing, it's an everybody thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
No.
But just send me information that can help me follow it up, and I will, and come back and share a bit more as we make some progress. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I think councillors are happy to that they just seek the information from the Reverend and North Yorkshire. Okay. 8.6 is to receive and move the letter date the 5th of the 2nd, 25 from parishioner alleging council had misinterpreted the 6 months rule in such a manner that councillors who should be disqualified remain in office in order to block other potential candidates. And 2, it's the clerk's response refuting the allegation, being emailed to the councillors. So I think this is obviously what Mr. Buckley was doing on there. So we've given Mr. Buckley the official response that we have and the up-to-date information. Does council wish to add anything else into that, or just?
No.
Okay.
I think, can I just add something there, Chair? On Mr. Buckley's report, dated the 10th of February, I noticed that on page 3, 4, sorry, an application of exemption for the 6-month rule, and which is North Yorkshire. And we have 2 North Yorkshire councils here tonight, and I just wondered where they fit in and how they understand these rules.
No relevance to us.
How can it have no relevance to you?
North Yorkshire.
It's not. Okay.
North Yorkshire might do it differently.
No, they might do it correctly.
I think we should do something anyway, guys. You know, I had this accident. Yeah, again, you want to penalise me because I had a bad accident. I couldn't come to the meeting because I didn't say to come to it. So I think there should be something somewhere that says,
Your apologies are accepted.
yeah, I know, but
That's acceptable, that's perfectly okay.
It's not a personal thing, I don't think by any means.
I'm sorry, it feels very much like this at the moment. It really does. It's really annoying me because I was very, very seriously.
If anybody's got anything wrong, it's probably the council that's
Okay, I've
misunderstood
only got a
something.
photograph here
Because-
that happened to me. It doesn't have to do with it.
But if you look at it logically,
Okay,
somebody can become a councillor on the 1st of January 2025, attend one meeting and still be a councillor 4 years later.
okay.
That's not right.
No, it's
Thank you,
not.
councillor, and thank you, councillor. So we're receiving the notice that's been given, etc. Okay,
Subsequent correspondence that all councils have been
Been-
copied
it's
into.
to-
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. 8.7, correspondence received from the 6th, 2nd 25, which the chairman of the meeting deems it necessary to consider as a matter of urgency. Not aware of any correspondence as
We
we,
have.
we have.
I have emailed the commissioner in respect of the lane on Hatch Road corner.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry for that, the lady was a bit wide. Thanks for your
Okay, sir.
engagement with it.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you now.
Bye-bye.
I've passed the matter to County Highways for them to deal with from that aspect. The other matter which I was going to bring to council attention was the gentleman who's just gone now, who lives on the green with the issue for his inability to get the caravan out. The notes I've made on here was a request for double yellow lines, contact the North Yorkshire Ward Council, and could the no parking zones be extended? So I think that that's all that's being covered.
Thank you.
So really the only thing that you need to note is the famous Leylander.
Yeah, and I think they have done a certain amount of trimming, but there's certainly the one that's kind of right opposite the rosette. That is quite extensive over, so I don't know.
They
Well, they're
refer to
trying-
their tree people, so as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned,
But
where
we're still, yeah, we have to, best we can on that one. So, thank you. Okay, item 9 is the finance, regularity and general matters. 9.1, to ratify the schedule of accounts payable for January 2025, which were authorised for payments by councillors Smith and Thompson. So, just so, 9.2 is to approve this. Sorry.
can you get the matter, is there
Yeah.
could ratify?
Yeah.
Sign it.
Councillor's happy to ratify the accounts as indicated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could I have a recorded vote on that, please?
Can you all put your hands up again, please? Right, that's for ratification. Who's against ratification? No, I don't want you to sign that one.
Not that one, yeah. Okay, 9.2 is to approve the schedule of accounts payable for February 2025.
Which you tabled at the meeting.
Yeah.
If I may, Chair. Excuse me.
Alright, okay. Thank you.
Propose we approve, Chair.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
one checking these.
So,
Who's going to?
okay, councillors all happy there, so we can. Yes, thank you.
Well, that manager checked that out. In my limited technology.
These. Double check.
Yeah, well, I can do the check if you want, yeah.
So who's doing the online authorisation?
Councillor Smith and myself. Okay. Yeah.
Councillor Thomas, have you completed that interests form?
Yes, we pass forward.
Ah, that's there. Thank you.
Yeah. 9.3 is to receive report and recommendations includes on work to replace the fencing and install a life belt at Full Site Pond.
Move it, please.
Okay, councillors have seen the report and I think I'm happy to
Yeah,
I think-
receive the
Can I just ask, Chair? You obviously all realise Fowlside Pond is in quite a bad state. And it is, for want of a better word, it's dangerous. Apart from unsightly, and I appreciate that somebody now is doing something. But the fencing was first reported 3 or 4 years ago by the chairman himself, you Richard. It's not being repaired yet. We've been going to take silt samples from the pond for many, many years, and we still haven't done it. We have £20,000 allotted for the pond this financial year, and it's not going to be spent on it, it's going to be spent on something else.
Exactly, and they've got it very well being spent on.
Please share.
Are you certain that it's me?
Well, legal.
Legal costs, where you were illegally taking
Okay.
action against a councillor who didn't assault anybody, and against against somebody for liability, for libel, that you're not allowed to take. Those are the where you spent your money.
And security.
Okay.
Well, let's get back to the pond.
But you've had the pond in your, on your agenda for the last 4 years and you didn't do anything about it either, so.
Shut
Well,
up.
that's the Clark why. That's the Clark why.
Chairman,
Okay.
I've moved the report. It's a contribution I made towards it.
Yeah.
That's a final attack.
Can we have sight at some time of the last?
We thank you for that, Councillor Basterman.
Can we have sight of the last report regarding its safety? Is that possible?
So, item 3 of the report's recommendations is that council notes and ratifies the delegated action taken. Is council happy to do
Yeah.
that?
Where's the money
I'm
gone?
happy with all the recommendations, Chair.
Thank you. All those in favour? Any against? Yes,
Yes.
recorded vote, yeah, no.
And can we add to this, Chair, that at some stage we can have sight of the latest safety checks on the pond?
Risk assessment.
Yeah, risk assessment.
I think move the, just that will move on at present or not. Okay,
Well, can I see it enough?
I'm just going to move on to the next item.
I think this is a serious issue, Chair, that people should get to the bottom of before somebody's life's at risk.
So, 9.4 is vacancy on review and staffing committee to resolve to appoint the councillor to the vacancy. Is it?
Councillor Barr. Leaving mind in that.
Councillor Moore, you
Happy to
okay?
accept, Chair.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what was said.
Is there a seconder?
Yep.
Sorry, and I'm making a proposition. All those in favour, Councillor Moore to be on the necessary committee? Are there any against?
I didn't think you had any staff. You only have one.
Okay, 9.5.
And you know that,
is
Mrs. Smith.
CCTV policy enclosed to receive a report and recommendations and decide action. So you'll see the
Chair, I've seen this
double check
report.
on the
I've seen this report. It's probably 2 to 3 years old, and I was involved in it at the start. And there's still things in there that I disagree with. There's 3 items, if I can mention them. One is where the requirement is to actually video staff attendance by monitoring the start and finish times. You can only do that if you have the employee's permission. And if you were going to advertise for staff in the future, you'd have to include that in the advert that you'd be doing that. I don't think it would be a very popular thing to do. And, you know, I think there's more important things to do for this council than spend time checking audio. The audio recording at the back door near the courtyard was put there purely for the working alone policy. The audio range should be checked to make sure it's not going beyond the boundaries. You've got to consider there's dentists coming past there, dentist patients coming past there, and I think that is wrong. And I think you'll find if you look under human rights and whatever they mention, videos an awful lot. The other thing is that some of the videos cover outside the council area. And my suggestion was previously and is now that you do masking, so you're not going beyond your own area. But you must really be careful with the people from the dentists. Now, if you get it wrong, especially with the ring camera, people are quoting costs of like £100,000. It's up to you. But those are the three things I think really need looking at closely or changing. And I would really be careful what I do. For some reason, people want to see people start time and finish time.
Put them onto this stuff.
You don't have any staff.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks
could you
Councillor
yourself?
Charles for your comments on that. Been noted. Does any other councillors wish to make any other further comments on?
Just a question, Jeff. In paragraph 3, under data collection, audio data, it says audio recording is not enabled. But then
It says India on my car tyres, but they aren't
in
going
the-
there.
in the appendix, it says that audio recording will be limited to specific areas, and then, yeah, so which is it? Is there audio or isn't there audio?
Can I explain that?
Yes, please, yes, yes, the main thought.
There is no audio recording unless somebody rings the doorbell and speaks,
Right.
and then the conversation is recorded.
And on risk, the risk management, risk number 5, it says CCTV footage will be accessed only by authorised personnel. Is that behind some sort of password or
At the moment, that's me, for the simple reason that it's on the computer that I use.
fine? Yeah, so it's only authorised personnel. That's fine.
Or councillors?
There was quite a lengthy stuff, if people look at that, if they go online and look at stuff, it covers everything that's been mentioned here tonight.
Councillors happy to adopt the policy as is, or wish to make any further comments?
You can tell the person that you are going to be recording this conversation.
It's not a matter of people getting their own way, Chair, it's a matter of what's right for this council, and some of these things aren't needed, and if they are done, they want to be done in a proper way, where there's no comeback to the council. And at the moment, in my view, it's not acceptable in its present form.
Can I ask, Chair, when was this started? When was this policy started?
I would guess it was started 2.5, 3 years ago.
We've never adopted it.
This is not, the policy that is here is not the policy that was drafted, and was drafted by Councillor Towns. There may well be some similarities, but it is not.
I've never suggested it was.
So do we want to
So
adopt it or do we not want to adopt it?
Sorry?
Are we adopting it or are we not adopting it?
I would suggest you review the comments that's being made, and I don't know, the review and staffing committee seem as though they make all the decisions, why don't they look at the points mentioned that can cause this council a problem?
Propose to accept the recommendations, Chair.
Recommendations as they stand at present.
The policy as it stands at the moment.
Got a recorded vote, please.
All those in favour of the recommendation as it stands at present?
So,
Again,
hands up for in favour, please, I'm still writing things down. Against, please.
Against?
Are you against or for? So against, we have councillor Townsend. Therefore the motion is carried by
Carried.
majority.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's right. So item 10, planning applications and appeals notified. To agree comments on the following. The first one is reconsultation, demolition existing care home and bungalow, construct replacement care home at 73 Burnston Road, Newby. So, councillors, wish to make any recommendation or? Personally, I've looked at this one, obviously, and my recommendation is to agree to the proposal.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. There was one of the neighbours did mention that there was some bats roosting on the site. Could we ask the planning authority whether they noted that and taken some action?
Yeah, I think we're allowed to put that in at the same time as part of what decision on the that plan. Yeah, thank you, yeah. Next one is a replacement UPVC windows and roller shutter to middle window, new plant machinery, ladder and timber fence to rear flat roof, external LED lighting, replacement concrete stairs and handrail to flats, ground floor link extension and brick up to 2 doorways for the Co-op 42-46 Newlands Park Drive, Newby.
No objection.
My recommendation is acceptance as well, so I'll even say, everybody okay with that? Yeah. Next one is outlaying application with all matters reserved for 18 dwellings at land to the rear of 459A Scalby Road, Scalby.
This was
I
raised.
recommend councillors to take the level of public comment to read the push stop.
Yeah.
That's not that one.
For this and the next.
The next one is the bus stop, not this one. Because I can tell you on the next one, it is the bus stop, hasn't been.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so the,
if it goes through, where it's going to park, because they can't, down Gainsdyke, doctors, you can't get down to go to money. So the contractors coming as well. We've got ladies' refuse coming in, haven't we? We've got the old people's flats. No, the refuse has been on there. Okay. You've got the bottom.
Councillor doesn't know what's going on.
and there is this roadway is indicated in, obviously to those properties, so there will be a certain amount of parking, plus their own drive and areas.
Where the contractors are building the buildings, where they're going to park.
On the road line. As they're built.
Yeah, they'll just,
Or will they?
Yeah.
Look at the plans.
Yeah.
Their line.
so,
A couple of points I wanted to make was that this particular application is kind of divided into two, with an access off Dainsdyke and an access off Newby Farm Close, I think. Dainsdyke is very narrow, and you know, as Professor Shepherd has said, it's always very difficult to get down anyway. So I don't think we should be allowing any more traffic down there. there were some comments from neighbours as regards the other proposed access, that's not actually owned by the applicant.
The applicant, yeah.
So, yeah, that would kind of, put paid to that. In any event, I mean, there were lots of other comments that were, against it, but it did seem very packed in, 18 dwellings, quite large ones, on that sort of like narrow side. I propose that we recommend that it not be approved because of the difficulties of access and the number of dwellings.
Okay. Any other comment from other councillors?
Not on the 18th.
No.
On the next one.
So, yeah. So, all those in favour for it to be accepted?
Not accepted.
No. Say that, not accepted or accepted, so all those who wish to consider it being accepted, would they indicate? Okay. And all those wish to indicate not acceptance? Okay. The next one is the construction of 6 number dwellings for 459A Scalby Road, Scalby. So this is the same strip of land with a smaller area that's allocated for.
With reference to the bus stop that was raised earlier.
Yeah, sure.
The bus stop is still in the plan, the new plan. The bus stop hasn't moved.
Yeah.
I just checked it.
Do you know what she said then?
So,
I couldn't see, I may have missed it, but I couldn't see on the planning authority's portal that there'd been any comments from the highway authority. And I would have thought it ought to wait for that, because the 5-bar gate that's there, that's the access at the moment, will be much narrower than the road that is proposed. And I'm not sure that it would be safe coming out onto the main road. And the second point that I wanted to make was that it's shown on the application as a private road, not an adopted road, which I think is for the future is not a good plan, because how is it going to be maintained in the future? So I would just like those comments to be forwarded to the planning authority.
yeah. As to the access within, and with regards to the bus stop as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have to make a decision whether it's accepted or refusal, so I'm guessing all those.
Guessing by the number of objections, I don't want us to approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, do you wish
There's not enough information on that.
do you wish to accept the plan or not?
On the information that we have, I wouldn't accept it.
Right. So all those wishing to refuse the planning application, we indicate.
confusing.
To go straight through.
Yeah.
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 To leave now. Which is not councillors. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Erect a single-storey rear extension to form a pitched stair roof to existing two-storey rear extension at Ivy Cottage, Churchbeck, Scalby. Look through this one up. See no reason why.
This is in
So,
a
okay.
conservation area.
Yeah.
It's within the
Yeah.
conservation area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have no objections.
so all in favour?
She's seen me do it.
All right. So, Mr. Sharma,
If you leave at 12.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes.
I believe you're interested to find out whether we're quorate or not for
It is.
decisions, and we are quorate.
No, my interest is this. If we accept that there's a divergence of opinion as to the legitimacy of two of these councillors, if subsequently it is shown that they are not councillors, you then have a problem. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legitimate councillors in existence. If one other councillor leaves, from that point on, you are no longer quorum. And though you may continue with the meeting, subsequently we find that any decision you make past that point are not legitimate.
Mr. Sharma, as part of the council, it is my job to advise council when they can't make decisions because they're no longer quorate, and I will do that if it becomes necessary. Thank you.
The conflict of confusion we have, Clark,
So
you're
item
right in asserting your
6 is
status and what
the
your job
gable
is,
roof extension
you are wrong.
to raise the roof height and a rear dormer and rear extension to accommodate a staircase. And this is to the close Newby. Personally didn't see any problem with it and happy to approve it. Okay, everyone in agreement? Thank you. Next one is the demolition of a bungalow and erect a two-storey house, and it's at 40 Scalby Mills Road. Similarly, I don't think they
No objection.
need any objection. Everybody happy with that one? Okay, thank you. Next one is demolition of existing conservatory, erect a rear extension at 23 Ridge Green, Newby. Again, I didn't find any problem with it at all.
No
Happy
objection.
to approve it.
Yeah.
Non-material amendment to condition 18, and so as to allow a time frame change for delivery of footpath and cycle routes over Scalby Beck. Well, judged by the amount of objectors, and they include councillors and North Yorkshire Council, and I totally agree with them entirely. There should be refused an extension because they should have done all this when they got the original planning application, which was passed for that to be installed as it is. So my recommendation is that we refuse this.
Yep. Great.
Agreed. Councillors happy with that?
Absolutely. I mean, Chair, if I could just add that I read through the proposed the report from the planning officer, and he's recommending that it's been approved, but it's just putting it off. I mean, they can defer it till the 50th house is occupied, and the next thing you know, they're going to come back and say defer it until the 100th house is occupied. It's never going to get done.
Yeah.
I think Councillor Sharma may be able to provide some more information.
If Councillor Sharma was here, and if he had been invited, he may well have commented. But since Councillor Sharma is on the planning committee, it would be inappropriate for him to comment.
We'll consider that tomorrow.
Yeah, unfortunately, What I would have liked to say, and I don't know whether I'll be in time to get it to the planning officer before the meeting tomorrow, is to add something to his recommendation, if that does go through, say that the reserved matters should be application should be submitted on or before the 1st of March 2026, so at least we get something moving forward. Because they clearly haven't, the landowners and the developers clearly haven't done anything. They haven't even started on the bridge project, and they've no intention of doing it.
So I think we're all in agreement that we all as councillors wish to refuse this planning application, and I'm just trying to think out in the nicest possible way we can say that to the chief planning officer, so I don't know how on earth he can come back by saying to us we need an extension for this to be done, and the possibility to be extended again. So the answer is no, it's not, and you should have done this in the very first place. And I think if we can perhaps indicate that as a council to them in our reply. Councillors happy with that? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry? Yes.
The next one is the demolition of a garage erect single-storey side extension at 1 Red Scalby in Newby. Again, I don't see a problem with it whatsoever.
No objection.
So, no objection. Everybody okay, happy for approval. The next one is a demolition of a rear lean-to, front and side porch and erect raised balcony with veranda under to the rear, a new side entrance porch and rendering of the property. It's at 14 Westfield Avenue, Newby.
No objections.
Again, I didn't have any objections. Okay with that?
Okay.
And I think this is an extra one that was placed in, which is a single rear extension at 21 Red Scar Lane, Newby.
No,
Sorry.
no, we put that in the wrong place. Can you do agenda item 11 next, please? Which is a decision. There's 2 additional applications at agenda item 11.
Okay, so we're moving on to item 11, planning decision, appeals and withdrawals, etc. And as you'll see from all of them, they were granted with conditions, so take those on block. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, noted.
Okay. Item 12 is the planning matters received after the 6th of the 2nd, 25, to agree comments as appropriate.
And that is your
And the
single
one
rear
that is just
extension.
the single rear extension, 21 Red Scalby in Newby.
Yep.
And again, I didn't seem to have any objection whatsoever. Checking it out. Okay. Thank you. Okay, item 13 is reports on outside bodies and events attended, to receive reports from councillors. Do you have any reports on any visits and things that have attended? No reports? No reports, okay, thank you. Item 14 is exclusion of the press and public, and to consider a motion that under the provisions of the Public Bodies Admittance to Meetings Act 1960